Now, as we said, we have left a relationship to the past for a new relationship in Jesus Christ. We have cut off a relationship with the flesh in order to find a relationship in the Spirit. We have pushed aside the works of the flesh which never did bring satisfaction in order to find our satisfaction in Jesus Christ by faith in the person of Jesus Christ. Now, we have a choice. And this is the choice that Paul is bringing to the Galatian Christians. And this is our choice as well today and throughout all of the age until Jesus comes. Our choice is, will we live bound to the old, dead past? Or live in reality with the new relationship? I want to give you an illustration concerning an old, dead past, an old relationship, and a new one in the inconsistency that abides between the two. Now, there is a possibility that this illustration, which I believe, if I understand correctly, came from an actual true life experience, was related some years ago by Dr. Chuck Swindoll. And I'm going to use it this morning because it so adequately and aptly fits the book and the topic that we're talking about. There is a possibility it might cause a twinge of remorse in your heart, some of you. If it does, please forgive it. But it is such an ample and adequate illustration that I want to use it. Dr. Swindoll told the story of a woman who'd lost her husband, and crushed at his loss, she couldn't bear to part with him, and so she had him encased in glass and put in his favorite chair and had that whole crypt set in the middle of the living room. And because she couldn't bear to part with him. Over the course of several weeks or even a couple of months, some friends convinced her that she was living too deeply into her grief and her remorse. And so they convinced her that she needed to go on a cruise, not to get over the loss of her husband, but to get over the depth of her grief. You know, sometimes grief can be unhealthy. And so she needed to get over the depth of her despair and her grief. While she was on the cruise, she consented and went on the cruise. And while she was on the cruise, as sometimes happens and usually happens on TV shows, she met a man. And they were quite compatible all the way around. A whirlwind courtship eventuated in marriage. And they talked things over and decided that they were going to live in her spacious home. Now, don't get ahead of me. They would live in her spacious home. Coming home with her new husband, they came up to the house, came up to the door, opened the front door. They stepped inside, the light went on, and to the shocked eyes of her new husband, there sat in all of his glory her old husband. Now, there is a problem. To live with the new relationship, it was necessary that she bury the first. Now that's where we are. That's where many people who profess to be Christians, who profess to have a relationship with Jesus Christ are. We are trying to live in two worlds, as it were. We're trying to live under the auspices of two headships. We are trying to maintain a relationship for salvation with Jesus Christ and at the same time carry out the flesh works of the past life. And it doesn't work. In order to carry on the new relationship and live under the headship of the new leader, the new head in our life, the Lord Jesus Christ, we must put to rest, we must bury the past one, the one that is dead, the one that is behind. The Apostle Paul says in another place that we are to put behind those things which are past and move forward, push on toward the mark of the high calling of Jesus Christ. And that we will do, he says in Hebrews 6, if the Lord permit. The Lord will permit as long as we have life and breath and as long as we will consent to, in faith, follow him.